All right, we're back. This is the It's Your Perspective Talk Show. It's Monday, December 22nd. It's about 8:10 p.m. 8:10 p.m. on Monday, December 22nd, 2014. And we do have a special guest in the studio tonight, Cindy Mail. There she is right there. Welcome to our studio. Thanks for coming in and spending some time with us here to enlighten us, I guess, on art and yoga.
Cindy, bring the mic a little closer to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so welcome to our studio.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for coming in.
It's my honor. Thank you.
And art and yoga.
Conscious yoga.
Conscious.
Art and conscious. Yoga and conscious art.
I consider myself in the business of fostering creative energy for individuals and communities to hopefully develop and synthesize that creative energy into everyday normal life for higher conscious living. I'm so with you, Sue. Most of us are asleep. I so reverberated with that.
Yes,
and it's all about what I do.
Right.
And so I consider my business is to help people wake up.
Right.
By fostering their creative energy. And I'm not talking about creative energy that helps you to write a poem or paint a picture necessarily, although that's part of it. But I'm talking about the bed in the morning and know that you are supported by all there is. Every thought, everything supports you once you just take that first step.
How did you get into this whole consciousness of yoga and art, Cindy?
When I was a little girl, my father used to say to me, "Why do you ask so many questions? Just do what you're told." But I've always been somebody that has wanted to know.
Right.
I've just wanted to know. So I started with yoga in 1970 with a little tiny yellow book on an island in the middle of the Aegean Sea. And I took that book and I did yoga every morning and every afternoon and every night. I also became a vegetarian then. And so I've been doing yoga throughout the birth of both my children, throughout my life.
Right.
I've taken many different kinds from many different teachers. And probably about 10 years ago, I took my first Kundalini yoga. And when I took Kundalini yoga, I knew that this was the yoga for me. Kundalini yoga is the yoga of self-awareness. It is specifically designed to raise the creative energy, or the Kundalini, they call it, the serpent, up your spine for higher consciousness. And it works. It's good stuff.
Okay.
And then I started doing art in 1970 as well. When I went to college, I was not allowed to take art. No art. I was tracked science and math.
Right.
And so then after I graduated, I started my journey for art.
Okay. Do you have a studio that you work out of, Cindy?
Right now, my studio is above my garage in South Carolina.
Okay.
I left St. Croix in 2012 to help my parents transition from this world to the next.
Yes.
And it's taken, since they passed away, time for me to settle.
Okay.
Settle.
Okay.
So, and then that's when I began the Kundalini yoga.
All right.
I did take, I taught the Marines at Paris Island at the air station, Kundalini yoga for a year.
Okay.
Which was great.
So let's talk about Kundalini yoga.
Yeah.
So can you get more insight into that? When you think of yoga, a type of yoga, I would imagine, and can you talk about maybe moves and that kind of stuff, or is that part of how that works?
That is definitely part of how that works. Kundalini yoga addresses 10 aspects of the human being. It addresses the soul, the negative mind, the positive mind, the neutral mind, the physical body, the arc, which is the kind of center of the aura, and then the pranic body, and the subtle body, and the radiant body. So when you do Kundalini Yoga, you are developing all these aspects of the individual. Whereas if you do many other kinds of yoga, you're more developing just the physical, especially power yoga.
Okay.
A lot of people, particularly in America, are into power yoga today.
Okay.
And so I kind of compare that, and this is my perspective, right?
That's right. That's right.
It's your
It's
perspective.
my perspective. But I never allow my students to draw from pictures. Because if you draw from the object yourself, even if it's this microphone, no matter what it is, right? Everything is made of energy,
yes,
right? And molecules, and everything is a part of this unified force field. And if you're drawing it from life, it begins to speak to you, right?
Yes.
If you draw a portrait of a person from life, it begins to speak to you.
Okay.
Whereas if you draw a portrait of a person from a picture, the picture's a picture.
A picture.
Right?
Yes.
You don't have to interpret it really in any way. You're just copying the ratio of the length and the width. Another aspect of that I can say is I went to a white tantric yoga class, and for 62 minutes we sat with our partner and we couldn't speak. You're looking into your partner's eyes, and your arms are normally up somehow in the air. You might be holding their arms or whatever, but they're up in the air. Have you ever sat for 62 minutes with your arms up in the air?
Nope.
So you end up really, when you're looking into your partner's eyes, there's a communication there that goes well beyond what you might normally have conversation about. And so that's what drawing is. That's what drawing is reaching some other aspect besides the physical body.
Okay. Now I know you just did the 3 days at the Henley studio, and we were there on the second one, and the third one was about I guess light.
How light has influenced art throughout history.
Do you want to talk about? We didn't see the first one. We saw the second one. We didn't see the third one. So you want to talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah, talk about the first. I guess because it was a series that all kind of went together.
The first one was about art as being a communication. So the images in art are communicating something. So what I was trying to show, and I think that I did, according to the responses, was that art can be on a very introductory level. You're learning about something.
Right.
So you do art about that subject because for some reason you become interested in it. And then you begin to understand the subject. And then you begin to take whatever that subject is and apply it in another way. And then you begin to analyze what you've been doing. And then eventually the knowledge that you've gained from the drawing or the painting or whatever art it is that you do, you're synthesizing to your life, and eventually it transforms you. Now that's as an individual. It also does the same thing in art history in terms of art styles. So we know that.
Yes.
So art is a communication, and you saw the one that you saw, which was on installation, and how more and more and more people are becoming involved in art. First it was just as a viewer, and then an appreciator. And then people actually in performance art began to introduce the viewer into the art.
Into the art, yes.
Right. Large murals in the 1800s. You're standing in front of them and you're in that scene.
Yes.
Right? And so now the art is actually, the viewer is the art. We talked about 512 hours. It was an art show at the Serpentine Gallery in London, and there was no art on the walls. There was no sculpture anywhere. The artist let in 160 people at a time. Thousands went, by the way. But she let in 160 at a time, and then she interacted with them by placing them in different places and having them do some sort of a meditation. by looking into their eyes and communicating with them. Again, raising consciousness. So today, that's what art is about. It's about not getting something in a gallery or museum, but actually getting people to feel a higher conscious level through an art form, through their art form. We are the art form.
We are the art form.
We are the art form.
Okay.
And through our vehicle, we can create art. I think the first time I ever realized that, I think, was, I was doing a piece of artwork, and all of a sudden I realized that if this is too strong, it ruins the picture. So the essence of it is that all of us have to work together
Right.
for the picture to be clear. So anyway, light. Light.
And this is the third day.
This is the third day. And light is, in the Renaissance era, they learned how to use chiaroscuro to create a sense of reality. And people are still working on that today, in realism. And that was in the end of the 1400s, beginning of the 1500s. Then they started using light in this very kind of bizarre, dramatic, almost like a stage lighting in the Baroque period to create a highlighted sense of emotion. And then, eventually they went into the science of light and the rainbow and how light is refracted, and that became the Impressionist period. And then we talked about the Holon, and how that came about as an art form and how that was used.
What is that pronounced? How's that?
A Holon.
Holon, okay.
You see a Holon on the dollar bill now, particularly like a $100 bill. You know that part that kind of moves. A Holon on different things.
Kings, yes.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you can also take a Holon on stage and create a person on stage that's not really there.
Right.
Okay.
Hologram, yes.
A hologram.
The hologram. The hologram. Okay.
And it's holographic
Graphic
Holon.
hologram, yes.
Then I talked a little bit about light installations and how they're shining lights up on large buildings and creating a sense of ethereal environment through light in communities. And then eventually what we finally talked about was light today and what we know about light today scientifically and how we know that light is within us. We are light.
Okay.
The photon, the electron, we are energy. We are light energy.
Right.
Okay.
And so rather than studying light on the outside of us, as artists, we need to begin to reflect on the light that's inside of us.
Okay.
Because that's the newest technology. That's the newest paradigm.
Newest art technology. Is
Well,
that safe to say?
No, it's the newest technology, bottom line.
Period.
I mean, you have quantum physics.
Okay, I got
And
you.
now we're talking about science on a nano level,
Okay.
on a 1/1000th of a millimeter
Yes.
level.
The real
And
nuclear, I guess, level.
that, even way below that.
Way below that? Okay. Okay.
So that's the light level. They're finally reaching that level or we're finally at the point where science and philosophy are coming together to prove that, in fact, we need to wake up. so that's what I do.
Okay.
I do installations in houses and businesses to help create a space that people can use as a meditative space.
Okay.
As a place where they can go in their homes to encourage and to foster and to generate a higher conscious sensitivity.
Okay.
Because that's not something that you got to work on that.
Right.
Yeah. To perfect it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is grace, right? And they say the grace of God, by the grace of God, you will feel God.
Yes.
Einstein said it's not just about knowing about God, it's about you can feel God. Armstrong, when he came down on Earth from being the first person in space, he created the Organization of Noetic Sciences and the magazine The Noetic Science. Because of his experience there, he wanted to let people know about his experience.
Right.
So that other people could experience that as well. And that's where we're at today. We have to share our experiences and share our awareness of this higher conscious level, so that more and more people can become involved in it, and so
Okay.
that we can raise individual consciousness and thus collective consciousness.
Collective consciousness. Okay.
How is the public reacting to the conscious level of art coming out and to go forward now? Is there acceptance? Is there denial? How is the public view of it?
It
on a whole?
really depends on where you are.
Okay.
The class that I'm in California, there's 100 people in it. The white tantric yoga that I told you that I went to,
Right.
where you had to sit for 62 minutes, there were about 1,000 people. So it's amazing when you go out.
Okay.
You feel a whole camaraderie of people. And those people are energized one off of another.
Right.
So it's wonderful. In California, people are more. In South Carolina, people are more complacent. They're very they're happy.
Mhm.
You know, they got everything they
they
need.
need. Yes.
Yeah, no problems. And that I'm just saying that as a generalization.
Right,
That's
right.
not- and there are many yoga studios that are beginning to come about.
Come about. Okay.
And another aspect of this is slow food. Okay, where our slow food farm and slow food cooking, because you have to clean up your inside. You know?
That's right.
In order to open up these chakras and these energy centers in your body, for the energy to pass through.
Right.
That's what yoga's about, to make you, one, more flexible, keep your spine strong, two, keep your physical body strong so that you can, you need to meditate. You also need to breathe. There's a pranayama. It's very important, your breathing techniques to help move this energy up.
Oh, right.
There's particular body locks. One down in the lower three chakras, one here at the neck level, and then one up here, that you bring these body locks in, and that helps to move the energy.
Right.
So it really is. Kundalini Yoga is a technology begun by Yogi Bhajan. He came here in 1969.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think, too, that the movement in art, clearly the newest movement in art is around bringing a higher consciousness. So if that answers your question,
Yes,
I definitely
yes.
think that it is a growing concern.
Turn. Yes.
And of course, in 1965, there was a guy by the name of Lorenz. Have you heard of the butterfly theory?
Butterfly theory? No.
The butterfly theory basically, and I'm paraphrasing it, says that if a butterfly flaps its wings in India, that by the time the
The wave.
movement of the waves in India gets to the Caribbean, it's a hurricane. So he did this by putting numbers into a formula and iterating them over and over and over again. We could never have done that without the computer. See, we could not have the knowledge that we have now about the way our mind works without the computer.
Yes. Yes.
So when he did this, this iteration, he termed what was called a bifurcation. And bifurcation simply means that an energy wave comes out, and then it doubles. It's called period doubling. And then those two double again, and then it doubles again and again. And so your thought waves, when you send a thought wave out there, it period doubles. And it bifurcates, and it's energy, and it moves forward.
Right.
So as more and more people are doing yoga, as more and more people are working towards a higher mental consciousness, a higher spiritual consciousness, that bifurcates. And that's what creates the movement from an individual to a collective conscious community.
Okay. Talk a little bit about your travels. I know you've probably traveled a lot of places, Europe maybe, and what's all the travel like?
Have you been back to India where the yoga started?
No.
Okay.
No, I had that opportunity when I chose to go to California, to Santa Monica.
Okay.
I went out to California and I viewed a few studios. They also had it in Canada. They had it in India. They had it in New Mexico. And I particularly liked the teachers in Santa Monica, Harbhajan and Tej.
Right.
And my daughter's out there. And I'm kind of a rooter. I'm not one of these people, like everybody's talking about where they travel and what they, and I'm a rooter. You know, just give me a hoe and a pick and a shovel and let me
Grounded.
dig into the earth and plant my herbs.
Yeah.
You know, and do my art. So you know, you got to kind of give me a nudge to get me to travel.
Okay.
And I have. I've been through Europe, been to Greece. It's beautiful. I loved it. That's where I began my yoga.
Okay.
Been to Mexico. I've traveled a little bit, but not as much as some people might think. I've traveled more in my mind.
Yes.
I've traveled more miles in my mind
Yes.
than I have with my physical body.
Body, yeah, I think
And-
I'm with you on that one too.
And that is fine for me.
Yes.
Fine for me.
I met you a few years back, and I met you at the WIM Museum here in St. Croix, and you were, I think if I'm not mistaken, you were doing this painting on material. Is that correct?
I do paint on material.
Okay.
I do paint on material.
Okay. So how did you get into that particular component of that?
It's great that you asked me that. My philosophy of this energy and this bifurcation of energy and this underlying energy that goes through all things, that is manifested through us, right? It's a philosophy, and I found that people had a hard time understanding it, and I had a hard time speaking about it in a picture format, in a two-dimensional format.
Okay.
So then I started doing very large-scale installations where you would walk into a room and it would be completely transformed through fabric, hand-painted fabric. An example of that would be a 24-piece fabric installation at the Savannah Yacht Club. I did that in 1999, and it is still there. People are still enjoying it. I've done it through many of my churchers. So then I thought, okay, what I need to do is to communicate this to people, is to put it into a format that people love.
All right.
And that's fashion. That's fashion. People love fashion.
Yes.
And then I started thinking about it a little more, and I said, okay, a lot of people when they're taking my classes or they come into my classes, they say, I'm just not a creative person. I can't create. I don't know how to create. And I'm like, yes, you are. You're a very creative person. You just don't know it. And so then I started thinking, okay, what's the first creative thing that you do every day? You get out of bed, brush your teeth, maybe wash your face, eat something, but eventually you go into your closet and you create the image that you're going to move into the world with. People all over the world have created fabric that communicate. A dinker cloth, the Scottish cloths, right? Every culture has fabric that communicates. So then I decided to do my Zimmy Zen live art fashion performance, and that was the first one that you saw. And actually, I want to give a little credit here because the VI Humanities Council partially supported that.
Okay. Yeah, that was some time back. That was because I came back in 2008. Maybe in 2009, maybe that was when that happened, sometime around there.
I think it was 2010.
Okay.
I believe it was in the spring of 2010.
Okay.
And then I did it in St. Thomas at 7-7 Gallery.
Okay.
I did it at the Ice Gallery in St. Thomas. I did it at Remness, at the Palms, and at Venice Beach, California. And I'm getting ready to do it now in Hilton Head Island.
Okay, good.
So I just want to say Zimmy Zen, the clothing line itself, is a fusion of the mythic characters and the mythic stories of the Taino Indians, the Zimmies. And because I find the Caribbean kind of thinks with their heart, right? They're compassionate, passionate people. They have an open heart. I know that really came to me. I was teaching at Manor School one time, and one of my students, the first thing we would do, the first assignment when people came to my class, I would ask them to write down a belief system. And this one student wrote something down, and if they wanted to share it, I would share it. And I'd say, how do you know that this belief system was true? And he said to me, if I feel it in my heart, I know it's true. So once he said that, it reconfirms
That what you were thinking about.
what I was thinking
passionate.
about. Passionate, open.
And
You feel it in your heart, and it's true.
right.
As opposed to Zen, that channels energy through a very focused, receptive mind.
Right.
So the concept of Zimmy Zen is an open, compassionate heart fused with a focused, receptive mind for higher conscious living.
Okay.
And it's a great show. It's a live art performance. It's not just a fashion.
Okay.
So you have people walking on the boardwalk with the different apparels or stuff like that, or you just put it up on the wall?
Well, it starts out with all the models,
Okay.
who are, by the way, all volunteers. They're not professional. They're just ordinary folks.
Oh, okay.
I put a call for models, and they go, I want to do it, and I go, great.
Okay.
And they come out doing a kind of a improvision on the sun salutation
Right.
to the Tibetan monk
Okay.
sound.
Yes.
And then they go back on, and then they come out and they do a quadrille with Jamesy. So that takes care of the Zen and the Zen.
Zema.
Isn't that great? It's great.
Yes.
In honor of Jamesy, I understand
Yes.
he passed away this year.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I loved his music.
Yeah, man.
So they do that, and then my dancer comes out, and it's been Abhijay Mulan-Sneed. She's here on St. Croix. I'm hoping to get her to come to Hilton Head for this performance. She was at Reminisce, and she was in Venice Beach with me. But she comes out in an antique wedding kimono, very embroidery, very embroidery. And she does these beautiful, flowing, kind of Asian moves, and to an Asian music.
Right.
And then she rips that kimono off, and she's got her Caribbean flare skirt underneath.
Okay.
The music changes. And she's the muse.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So she calls the models in, like in whatever gestures or movements
Right.
that she wants to do, she calls the models in. And I'm kind of narrating as.
Mike?
Cindy, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
All right, thank you. Turn it off.
Rush it.
Mark time, and I move long life journey. Me to see la see 900, 960. Knowledge covering the earth now. No matter how so much I earn now. It is free from the reality.
All right, we're back. This is It's Your Perspective Talk Show, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but today is Monday, and we're doing a special show for our guest tonight, Cindy Mail, yoga and art. Conscious art. And there she is right there. And just as we kind of, I guess, continue on our conversation, you're just talking about your travel. And so I know you've done some teaching here in the schools. Talk a little bit about that, the kids that you come in contact with, things that they like. As far as art, are the kids here into art compared to maybe elsewhere?
The kids are fantastic artists here. Fantastic artists. It just seemed like every one of them had a gift.
Okay.
In some way, although they didn't necessarily see that.
Okay.
Way. I started teaching special education at Arthur Richards in 1980. I finally got an art job at Good Hope. I think that was 82. In 92, I shifted to Country Day.
Right.
I was there for 13 years. And then I began, I was doing a Master of Fine Arts at Savannah College of Art and Design. So I was half of the year at Country Day and half of the year in Savannah. And then after I graduated from Savannah, I became a teacher at South Carolina, University of South Carolina in the Okatee-Buford campus. So I would teach a Country Day half the year and teach college half the year, university half the year. But yes, the students here are very talented. I had so much fun. I enjoyed them so much. I learned so much from them. I still am connected with many of them in many ways.
Right.
Many of them have apprenticed with me since then. Debbie's son is one particularly who worked with me to do many of my interior design pieces. We painted a faux stone around a house in Judas Fancy. The whole garage was faux stone.
Okay.
And they had these big hurricane shutters that we faux those so that the house, wasn't all broken up into different.
Okay. Okay.
So we did a lot of work together, and I also am planning on taking her to South Carolina to do the Zimmy Zen. As a apprenticing artist, she also does fabric design.
Okay.
And so she went off to school in Barcelona to study fabric design, which is what she apprenticed with me.
Okay.
She helped me to do the fabric installation in the party room at Tutubeni.
Okay.
We've done a lot together. So.
Okay, good. And she's here, or this is her home base is here?
She moved back from Barcelona this year.
Okay.
So I'm excited for she and Abijay to come with me.
Yeah.
Right.
Because really, everything goes through changes.
That's right.
Change is the only thing that's constant.
That's right.
And you I believe that if you are flowing through your higher conscious spirit and you're not controlled by your ego and your subconsciousness, your higher conscious more than your subconsciousness, then it's easier for you to know what to do in change. It's easier for you to move through change because just like we're streaming live on the internet, you can be streaming that higher conscious energy right through you, and it helps you to make choices. It helps you to flow through life so much easier than if you're trying to make this decision all by yourself. So I really, when I take them with me to Hilton Head, it's in an effort to bring people from Hilton Head back to St. Croix. And I'd like to do that because in my mind, I see St. Croix as a healing destination.
Yes.
We have healing waters. We have beautiful healing land. We have healing people. And there is a yoga and consciousness movement beginning here. We have conscious music. We have the farm from the University of Georgia with the slow food.
Yes.
We have a healing destination. Like, I'm trying to think. There's many destinations for yoga, just for yoga, where people go just to take yoga.
Yoga, right.
Like India.
Yes.
Right? Like, there's There's one in South America somewhere. I can't think of it right now. My daughter's going there over Christmas. But I would like to see St. Croix as more than just yoga. I would like to see St. Croix as art and yoga and healing. And that, to me, is something that we could promote.
Okay.
We could definitely promote that.
Okay.
And that's what I want to do with Zimmy Zen and Hilton Head. In fact, Zimmy Zen wherever I go.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay. That's good, man. We gotta get people here. And
We have to get people here.
Yeah, it sounds
But
like
we
a
have
way.
to get them here for the right reason.
Yeah, sounds like one way to get it done.
You have to get them here for what it is that you have to offer. And I believe that that's what we have to offer.
Yeah. Rest and relaxation amongst the beautiful place here.
Yeah. It's just like, I think the motto, it used to be, I don't know if it still is, I love this motto from tourism, unscript yourself. Isn't that great?
Unscript yourself.
Unscript yourself.
yourself.
I mean, basically means do whatever, right? I guess in one person's eyes, do whatever. It's unscripted.
It's unscripted.
I didn't plan to do that. It's unscripted.
Exactly. I didn't plan to think that way. I didn't plan to have nothing planned for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just let it flow.
Just let it flow. Yeah. So when you go back, you're gonna be just doing more yoga classes and art kind of classes and stuff.
My yoga class that I'm taking, the last class is Mother's Day weekend.
Okay.
We do have the month of April off because my teachers are going to Russia to teach. And so it's April 30th that I'm doing the Zimmy Zen there. So when I go back in April, I'll be pulling everything together.
Okay.
And see, the thing of it is, when I think of, I'm very serious about raising consciousness through art and yoga, not just for the individual, but also for an entire community. So when I go back, there's a young woman there who's just started raising herbs, and she's making her own teas. So she's partnered with me. And she's going to be placing packages of her teas at every table setting because it's Asian Caribbean cuisine that's going to be going on too. And then there's a restaurant that's partnering with me. It's a new restaurant. It's a Echo, a farm-to-table restaurant.
Okay.
And in fact, already they're buying the girls' tea. So that's one connection.
Yes.
See, and that's what I want to do. I want to make connections between creative elements that are doing things that are consciousness raising.
That's right.
That are stepping outside the box and moving forward in this.
Okay.
So I came across a young man when I was in Charleston. I went to Charleston to see the TED Talks. They were streaming them live from Rio de Janeiro. And so afterwards, I met this young man in an ice cream parlor. He was working there. And he ended up being a fashion fabric student at the art college in Charleston. So I said, I'm getting ready to have a fashion show. And he said, well, I'd like to be in it. And so I said, well, I don't know how we can do that. Maybe we can make that happen.
Right.
So I took his number and I started thinking about it. He's 6'8". And I'm thinking, all right, now if I buy the fabric and hand paint this kimono or make a kimono for somebody 6'8", how am I ever going to sell that?
Yeah.
How's that going to work for me?
Yeah.
So again, thinking of the whole partnering idea, I texted him and I said, I tell you what, you buy the fabric, you make the kimono, I'll paint it, and you can wear it, and then it's yours.
Right.
And he's all over that.
Okay.
He's loving that.
Okay.
And I started, too, thinking about partnering. And they say that the Aquarian age is about partnering as opposed to corporations and conglomerates. And so I started thinking about it even more. And partnering is not only supporting one another in a physical way, but partnering is a way that we can see the manifestation of thought energy. Because if you put a thought out there and synergistically something happens that supports that thought, then you've got to know there's a higher power working.
Okay.
You have to know that.
Yeah.
So that's why this is a time of partnering. It's not just because, small businesses have to come together. to make a living easier. It's about the energy and showing us that energy is
The energy is there, yeah.
That energy is there.
Yeah. So you just got through with the 3-day lecture. Lecture is, I guess, the proper word to use for that. So then we doing other things here in St. Croix while you're here, or is that kind of it?
No, I did yoga at Alda Andu's Sun Tzu Dojo. Had a small group there. That was the first one.
Okay.
I did yoga at A to Z.
Okay.
They were very opening for me to come.
Okay.
I know it's harder in the public schools, but I did go to Complex and I offered to give a free yoga class to students and teachers.
Okay.
Nobody's taken me up on that yet.
Wow. Okay.
Everything is free because I'm here to pay back.
Yes.
It was a,
Yeah.
I did one at Renudum.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Okay.
Nice group. And I'm doing one tomorrow night at 5:30 at the Kalima Center. Cheryl Wade's Kalima Center there on King Street.
Okay.
Across from the government house.
Okay.
And I've said if there's, I put the word out, if there's any place west or anybody else that would like for me to come and do a Kundalini Yoga.
That you'd be more than welcome to. Okay.
I start out with pranayama. Start out with a little introduction about what Kundalini Yoga is. Then we do pranayama. And then we do some warm-up exercises.
Okay.
Hatha yoga. And then we do the Kundalini set. And then we end with a meditation.
Okay. So be ready?
Yeah.
Is that emphatic?
Yes.
I'd like to. Well, we got a show tomorrow too. Well, we're going to come one of these. We like to make the guest appearances.
It's tough. It's tough to get out of your routine and to dedicate yourself to it's tough
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. So the turnout is what, like big crowds of people, or 10 to 15?
Well, the first time I did the first lecture, there were 8 people. Second lecture, there were 10 people. Not counting you guys, I think.
Okay.
And then the third lecture, there were 16 people.
Okay.
So it's word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
And then in the yoga, the last time there were 9, and which is really a full house there. Get
Right.
a few more people in there.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Okay. So let me ask you, Cindy. So when it comes to art, as you've been in it such a long time, I mean, did you think art was going to come to where it is now? I mean, if you had some look into the future capabilities, I mean, do you think that art is, 20 years ago, do you think art would be the way it is now? I mean, or is it just sort of, does it make changes as it progresses?
I recently read a book, and it was titled Physics on the Fringe. And it was by Margaret Wertheim. And it was about people who are trying to make heads or tails about our universe. And they're doing them in a way that necessarily doesn't correspond with our traditional physics.
Okay.
Or physicists who have degrees and doctorates in physics. People who say that Einstein's out of it. And so Miss Wertheim was saying that science is progressive,
Okay.
but art is not. So in a way that might be what you're asking me. And what you have to understand is every time there's a new scientific paradigm or a new scientific finding, that is manifested in art as well.
Mm-hmm.
The art changes because our ideas change.
Changes, right.
And as our ideas change, and community and individually, then the art is going to change. And that's why our art now is focusing on the individual feeling what science is now finally able to prove, but what philosophy's been talking about, since Jesus Christ.
Yeah, from the very beginning, yeah.
So yes, art is changing. Would I have known it to come to this? When I first started doing art, I really struggled to figure out what it was I was trying to communicate. I would never have been able to talk about it now as I am because I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay.
I was making these images, but I had no idea where they were leading me, but they were leading me because that's what creativity does. It leads you. It's like, well, what's plan B? We don't know what plan B is because we haven't started yet.
Yes.
You know, you got to start. You got to take that first step. But you do need a platform for that first step.
Right.
I think it was Hegel said, the German philosopher, to supersede is at once to negate and to preserve. So in every culture, then, what he's saying is that you have to preserve as well as to negate part of it. So you gotta have a jumping. You gotta have someplace to step off.
Okay.
So your art takes you from one picture to the next, and it leads you.
Okay.
I started doing art in 1970, and in 1999 I went, I know what I'm doing.
Okay. It all came together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I know why I've been doing art for all these years.
Yeah.
And then once you know, then you can consciously begin to work your images to speak for you.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds intense.
Yes.
It's awesome. There wouldn't be anything else.
You wouldn't do anything else, eh? Okay. So talk a little bit about, for me, if I were to come to your yoga class and try to do some stretching and all this other stuff, I mean, would it be difficult? Would it be easy as a beginner? I don't think I've done any. Maybe early on, I might have done some yoga, but not in many years now.
Well, there's two answers for that. The first one is everyone's body is different.
Okay.
So in your process of doing yoga, you will learn what your body can and cannot do, right? And you will respect that. And as a teacher, I encourage people to respect that. Now, your body will change as you're doing yoga. And that's the awesome part about it. So that's the first thing. Respect your body. And in meditation, like I start off with 3-minute meditations, and then you work up as you have the ability to maintain a focus for longer periods of time.
Right.
And you also can use yantras, which is an image to look at to help you focus. And you can use a mantra, which is
A chant.
words, a chant, to help you stay focused.
Okay.
But you have to have a strong enough body to support you during your meditation.
Okay.
And especially if you change your posture, it helps.
Okay.
Am I answering your question?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's the first thing, respect your body.
Okay.
And the second thing is that it's not competitive. This is not football. It's not a competitive sport.
Okay.
It's about you doing it. Just doing it. Just taking that first step.
Okay.
My logo for Zimmy Zen is the mythic character Koti. And Koti, K-O-T-I, is basically a footprint going this way, unified with the footprint going this way. And Koti is the first footprint of the first man and the first woman. So I use that as my logo because first footprint is the first step towards creativity.
Okay.
You got to take that first step.
The first step. Okay.
Once you take the first step, then it all just starts pouring.
Going in.
Okay.
You know, your subconscious will give you a million reasons why you shouldn't take it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Let me have another piece of cake.
Instead, right?
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. This is the It's Your Perspective Talk Show, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday normally, but we're doing a special show tonight, Monday. We have Cindy Mail in the studio tonight. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. This is the It's Your Perspective Talk Show, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. until. Today is Monday, December 22nd. We're doing a special show tonight because we have Cindy Mail in the studio. There she is right now. Wave to the crowd, Cindy. You are streaming right out. So we've just been talking about art and yoga and consciousness and how it's all linked together. And we were just off camera here, just talking about a few things. But you wanted to sort of continue on with the conversation of some particular things that you wanted to talk about.
One of the things I'd like to emphasize is that art and yoga, when I'm talking about higher consciousness, I'm talking about change. And I'm talking about using art and yoga so that people can help move through change more easily. If you change your mind, you can change your physical body and your spirit. If you change your spirit, your physical body and your mind follow. If you change your physical body, often your mind and your spirit follow. So you've got those three things to work through. A lot of people are unhappy. A lot of people are miserable. A lot of people can't make change in their life. They don't like what their physical body looks like. Their minds are totally unfocused. And some of them don't even know they have a spirit. So when you begin to line these things up, then people have the opportunity to be more happy and to get rid of anger, pain, and hostility, and all of these things that are wreaking havoc across the world. When we have something that happens to us, our body memorizes that. Every cell of our body feels pain, and that pain is implanted in our physical body, and it's implanted in our minds, and it holds us back. So the idea is to use art and yoga to facilitate getting rid of the subconscious, clearing the subconscious, so that we can begin to live in the moment and make decisions in the moment. And not make decisions hastily on an emotional platform. And that goes from politics down to everyday, ordinary person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let everybody know, I guess, how to get a hold of you. Facebook, telephone number, any of that kind of stuff.
And I'd love for anyone that's watching this to like my public figure Facebook page, Cindy Mail Art and Yoga Studio. You can reach me through Cindy Mail Art and Yoga Studio. You can reach me through clmail@yahoo.com. You can see my artwork here on St. Croix at the Caribbean Museum Center. There's a couple pieces there. I have a patent on an earth rhythm light reflector, which is used as a yantra in meditation. You can focus on the candle, and there's kind of a little reflection there, which is why I call it a reflector.
Okay.
And it's a double. It's a double image.
Okay.
So it's a really good thing to focus on when you're trying to get your meditation started.
Now, where's the studio at now?
This is at the Caribbean Museum Center.
The Museum Center.
Where's that at?
It's in Frederickstead on Strand Street.
Okay. Okay.
And they sell them. I also have one piece there.
Okay.
Most of my work right now is in South Carolina because I'm getting ready to have a show there.
Okay.
And again, hopefully to bring St. Croix to Hilton Head Island because they're so much alike. They're both destination, tourism destination sites. They both have, like Hilton Head has the Gullah tradition. So they both have that Afrocentric tradition that's very powerful.
Okay.
Very powerful.
Okay.
And they both have water.
Yes. Beach and refreshing water. So we like to ask our guests, as we like to say, we're not professional talk show hosts, but there's anything that we might have forgot to ask you that's important that you want to get across? Anything that you want to say?
I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Every chance that I get to talk about consciousness, to try to make people aware of consciousness, because let's see, how can I say this? As more and more people are interested in it, more and more people, it's in the back of their mind. And so so for me to have the opportunity to maybe bring it from the back of the mind to the forefront of the mind is really special.
Right.
So I thank you for this. I also believe that the new children that are being born today are being born with a different state of consciousness than those of us that were born, 30, 20 years ago.
Yes.
It's my perspective that a lot of the students who are diagnosed with Asperger's or autism, these kinds of things, they say they're too sensitive. They say that they can't think out of their box. And I say that it's the school system that needs to think out of the box.
Okay.
And it's the people who need to take another look at these. Like they say that these children, there's right and wrong. There's black and white. And that they're very, very sensitive when they see something that they think is wrong. Because there's no gray, right?
Right.
And in my opinion, it's time for someone to say, wait, there's no gray. It's right or it's wrong.
Point blank.
And this is wrong. So I think that as we move forward, there is a movement, not just in the people that are already here. We don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, why even bother? Nothing's going to change. Because people die and people are born. And if I make a change, my children will make a change. And their children will make a change. And then you're making a change in the world, because the people who aren't we're going to die. And what we need to do is inherently change ourselves so that we can change generation after generation.
Okay.
And I think that's a very important thing for people to understand, that the buck doesn't stop when you die. You pass it on. You pass it on genetically, and you pass it on experientially.
Okay. All right, Soup. You got any questions, Soup? Any more thoughts? Any more questions?
No, I'm good, Cindy. Thank you very much again for coming in and enlightening us in yoga and conscious art. Just keep doing what you're doing, and maybe they will wake up one day.
Well, I really like what you read every time.
Yes, thank you.
I'm all over that.
Okay.
Yeah. She's talking about the "It's Your Perspective" poem.
Yes.
We read it every show. He's been doing this since April. Every show. But I want to say too, thank you, Cindy, for coming out and spending a little bit of time with us. You're in the family now, so anything new and exciting that you want to share with the public, just come on here and share, and then just put everybody's video on YouTube so that more people can see it.
Thank you, and I will put that link on my website.
Okay, yeah, you'll have that shortly. I'll definitely text you. I'll let you know, and then you can share it out from there. So, Soup, any final words, man?
Again, Cindy, thank you for coming in.
Thank
Continue
you.
doing what you're doing. Rastafari lives. One perfect love.
Yeah, we like to say one perfect love is our prayers and His blessings. When you put it all together, it's one perfect love. Rastafari stands alone. That's it. We'll be back tomorrow, and I guess, Soup, I can say, right, we got it all confirmed, right?
Yes, sir.
We got it all confirmed. We're having a special show tomorrow evening. We're starting at 8, but the special event is not going to start until 8:30. But I can go ahead and say that we're going to have DJ Swain and Pumpa in the studio tomorrow night, both of them together. Live DJ and local artists here. They both were here on separate nights, and both nights they tore the place down. So tomorrow night when they're here together, it's going to be pure ruckus, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be pure madhouse. We're definitely going to have one of those 8 until nights tomorrow night. This is what we're calling our It's Your Perspective Christmas Bash. DJ Swain and Pumpa tomorrow night, 8:30 until. Don't forget about it. It's going to be a big night. Stand by for the postings in Facebook. We're out. Peace.